everybody, and welcome to this week's TC Teachable. This week we have with us Lisa Blanton and also a special guest from Lisa, Linda Booth. So I'm going to go ahead and bring on Lisa. She's going to talk to you about auditioning for a dance. Hey, Lisa, how's it going?
Hey, everybody. Hey, Jackie. Thank you for inviting me to be here and part of Theater Charlotte's Teachables series. I'm excited. And I wish I could see all your faces because I miss seeing all the theater friends, and I hope you're all healthy and your families are safe and healthy. So I'm happy to be with you, even if it's virtually. And I am excited, as Jackie said, that my friend Linda is with me today. I think Jackie can pop her up on the screen too.
Right? There we go.
Hey.
I'm going to leave you guys
there
to
she
it.
is. Yay. Good to see you too, because I don't get to see you. So Linda, many of you who are watching probably know Linda because she's worked for many years in the Charlotte area, choreographed at probably every theater in the whole area and at most schools. So many of you have worked with her. And actually, she was the person who first encouraged me to audition at Theater Charlotte for a show many years ago. Again, we don't need to talk about how many, but it was a long time ago.
Yes.
So Linda and I are going to work together in this upcoming season, whenever we get that going again, on The Sound of Music. And so I thought it would be fun in talking to you today that we'd be here together. So thanks, Linda. Also,
good to see you. Thanks for having me. Absolutely.
So we're going to talk about dance in general and specifically auditioning for a musical. And, whenever people ask that question, there are a lot of different answers depending on where you are with your training, whether it's your strength or whether you're just trying to get better. So there are a lot of things that we can say apply to everybody, and then some if you're a trained dancer, if you've never had dance before. So we'll try to cover a lot of different. I'll try to answer that question for a lot of different people at different levels. So first of all, this may be good news for some of you and not for others, but there really is no substitute for really good dance technique training. Linda, you probably agree with that.
Absolutely, yes.
And ballet is probably the one. I mean, I was never a ballerina, but I had good teachers and mentors who said, stay in your ballet class for the technique. They never wanted to put me on stage in point shoes, but I stayed in my ballet class. So all of your strength and your alignment and your turns and just really your technique comes from ballet. So if you are young and you don't love your ballet class, stay in there anyway. And even if you're older, take a beginner ballet class. It's just the basis of all your technique.
It's amazing too. In an audition, you can always pick out the ones who have had ballet, even if that's not the style of movement that they're doing. And I do know from the college audition experience that many times there is a ballet component because they just want to see if you have that working knowledge. So yeah,
and they might even just throw out the terminology. We want to see, fourth preparation, double pirouette. You should know what that means, So, and you get that from a ballet class. So, good news or bad, that's the best piece of advice. But we're right in the middle of a pandemic, and you probably can't get to a class right now. So, Linda and I talked yesterday about the other options. So when classes are happening, even if you don't take a ballet class, you can take a jazz class or a beginning modern class or even Zumba or cardio funk at the Y. All of those things help you get in touch with your body, learn how to watch the teacher, pick up choreography. So all those things are good. But if you can't do that right now and you're trying to think about, I want to audition for a show or I want to get better, you kind of have to figure out what you're going to do about that. So there are online classes and some of them are very good. If you're more of a beginner, you might not get as much out of that as if you already are well trained and you can just follow the bar work. And but it is an option. I also think it's a great idea to call your friends. All of you probably have a friend who always is asked to be the dance captain in a show. That's what they bring. That's their strength. Call them up and say, meet me in the driveway, 6 feet apart, of course. And
yes,
take me through the warm up. Show me some combinations, and just kind of, it's fun. It'll keep you active, and that's a good way. But I also want to say that there are people like Linda who are professionals who do professional coaching. I don't personally do that, but I know Linda does, and I asked her to sort of tell you about what that would look like.
Well, during these strange times, I have been doing driveway classes because we do have our distance. I've done some garage dances and teaching in people's garages. I do think that any form, however it is, you're going to get something from that. I also kind of believe, even though I know we keep saying that ballet is to maybe even sort of, I've done some boot camps where I just kind of give a basic, ballet class to help you understand what the terminology is and how to approach ballet. So I've done some coaching like that. And then I'm doing a lot of coaching, helping people prepare for college auditions, which we may or may not talk about today, but would this be the time or now? Let's wait and talk about that after we talk about just general dance auditions. What do you think?
Yeah, and we may get some questions about that too at the end.
Sure.
So that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Yeah, but you're right. Just any experience is good experience, especially as you get close to that audition date. Get more comfortable with your body, but you just even getting more comfortable with the terminology at like a boot camp or whatever is great advice.
Yes.
So thank you for that. Okay, so let's say you've been going to class and you're looking at the season and you want to audition for a show. One of the other things that she and I talked about yesterday and agreed on is that you really should research the show. A good director and a good choreographer, we're not looking to separate, like stop the play and do dances. The choreography and the dance is part of the play. It's part of the story. So learn what you can about what you're auditioning for. Learn about it for style and also for content. Do you have anything to add to that, Linda?
No, I mean, I would just add on that it's great to be able to kick your face, and some people definitely can. But I think the people that stand out for me are the people who really understand, like you said, what they're dancing about. And my eye is going to be drawn to the person who is all in and understands what's in this particular number, what's happening in the play. And even if they don't whip out a double turn and they don't kick their face, if they understand the character, that's really, that person is more of an asset to the show than someone that can just do tricks.
Yeah, I agree. And also, like next year at Theater Charlotte this season, the two musicals are The Sound of Music and Pippin. And they're very different shows. So Linda's going to choreograph The Sound of Music. I'm going to choreograph Pippin. But if I want to audition for The Sound of Music, I probably need to brush up on my waltz. I don't know if Linda's going to do that, but there's some waltzing, beautiful waltzing at the party, and look at when dance happens in the show and what kind of dance there is. If I'm going to audition for Pippin, I sure as heck want to study a little bit of Fosse. I'm not going to steal anything that happened in the original, but the style is still there. So I'm going to watch clips, and I'm going to try to see how I'm going to, what the style of that looks like. So those are two very different shows. Don't just walk in and think, I'm going to learn how to do jazz square, pivot turn, spirit fingers. So study up on the style of the show too.
Absolutely.
So you've done that. You've been in class, you've been studying the show, and it's getting close to the time to come. So this sounds like a really silly thing to mention, but it really is important what you wear for your dance audition. And I can't tell you how many times people show up and they walk up in their flip-flops or their really cute little wedges. They realize they can't do it, and they, can I take my shoes off? Don't do that.
Right.
Don't ever do that.
Right.
You don't have to go out and buy expensive jazz shoes or character shoes, but you want to have something on your feet that allow you to do whatever it is the choreographer is going to throw at you in that dance audition. So, big clunky running shoes, you guys, those are made to keep you only going forward and back, so no lateral movement. So that's probably not a great idea anyway, but a little sneaker or a dance shoe, be prepared.
Right. And if you own several pairs, you should put all of them in your bag. Because you don't know, sometimes you see the style of dance and think, I thought I was going to do this in my 3-inch heels, but I need to quickly put on my jazz shoes.
Yes.
So
Yeah, and quickly is
have your tools with you.
Yeah. And some people really, and this is great, some people like to get in their, their finery for their vocal audition and their monologue, or something that's costume-ish for the part they want. And that's cool. And then they're going to bring they've got in their bag, all their dance clothes, and they're going to change. Oh, great. That's great. However, be a little bit warned that you might be number 10 to sing. And now right after 10, we want you on stage for dance audition. If you've got to do a huge costume change, the director and the choreography don't want to wait for you for 10 minutes. So have a plan B where all you're going to do is pull those leggings on under your dress and make sure you can move in what you've got. If you've got time to put the whole costume thing on, great. But just make sure you're ready to go when it's time for you, when you're called.
Right.
And with dance clothes, this is, we want to be able to see your body. It doesn't have to be a perfect body. Most shows don't require a bunch of,
right,
people with legs to here and all of that, but we do want to see it. But we don't want to see too much. Be classy and clean, and don't let what you're wearing be a distraction away from what you're doing.
Right.
We don't need to see all your stuff hanging out. Right.
Right. That's a good way to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have seen that many times. So nice and clean and respectful. It could be
maybe a color that you feel good in. Like I always say, choose something that you feel good in. So that might be a fun jewel tone leotard or whatever, and some leggings, but whatever you feel confident in.
So be prepared. Give it some thought and be prepared. So you come to the theater, you've got all your stuff, you've got your clothes packed, you do your vocal, your monologue. The next thing I would tell you is get yourself warmed up, like literally warmed up. You can sit out there and stretch, but also get your blood flowing, get your muscles ready to work. And if people look at you funny, who cares? But get moving a little bit. Whenever you do those big movement, more blood flows to your muscles. You're more in touch with your body and you're more confident. So when you walk out, your body's ready to go. So take a few minutes, either out if you're at Theater Charlotte, in the lobby waiting, or out in the parking lot, or it's not to show off, it's not to intimidate anyone else, but get yourself ready. Just like you do a vocal warm-up, do a physical warm-up. And particularly for me, I think doing those full range of motion exercises, so that whatever gets thrown at you, number one, you're going to prevent injury, for those of us who are a little older especially, but also it just really does get you ready to work and present yourself.
Yeah. For sure.
Let's see what else I got on here. Okay. I want to mention a couple of things to the people who are really trained dancers, and that's your strength, and you're coming in and you sing fine and you're a good actor, but dance is your thing. So it's those few minutes when you come onto the stage, it's your minute to really show us what you've got. So I would say come in there with confidence and be ready. If there is a single pirouette in the combination, go ahead and throw that double in there. Let us see it. But more importantly, during that time, imagine that you're in class and be a good example to everyone else. How you work in your own space, line up the way the choreographer asked you to, move when you're asked to move. People will watch, and that gives them some confidence. And we are also watching for people who are nice to other people, like be a leader in that moment. I can't tell you how much we're looking for. Who do we want to spend these next 8 weeks with? And if there's, there are two people and one is just such a great dancer and they're not nice to people, I'd rather take I don't know, Linda, how you feel about that, but when you audition for a show, you're going to live together for 2 months. So come in, let us see your strength, throw that kick up, whip off that turn, but also help other people and kind of be the dance demonstrator in those few minutes. I think that we notice it right away, and it's such a plus in the column on your little sheet. So
right.
So if you are not so much, do not come in and make an excuse. Don't come in and say, oh, I hate this part, I'm not going to be very good, I'm so uncoordinated. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. Come in and be who you are and do your best. Linda, so you told me yesterday, we never expect somebody to be perfect.
No, it's really, it's about storytelling and confidence. And so get rid of fear, because showing fear on your face is not going to show that you would be an asset to the show. But being confident in whatever your skill level is. I like to use the word sparkle, aspire to sparkle, but we want to see some sparkle in your face and in your eyes that you love this. And even if it's not perfect, and it's not going to be, and the show is, I always say to people, don't worry, the show's not tomorrow. When we audition you and select you, we still know that there are 8 weeks or whatever before the show.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So I would, and also don't be afraid to ask questions. I mean, you see it once and you can say, can you show me that again? That's cool. And one of the things that we look for, in addition to, okay, now we could teach 4 sets of 8. We want to see you do that. But we're also watching the process. How do you focus? How do you assimilate? And then put it out on your own body. So just stay focused and do your best. And like Linda said, just show us what it is about you that makes you special and that makes us want you to be in the show. It doesn't mean that you have to have executed with precision everything that you're taught. So that's,
I think, noticing some details when you watch the choreography and the first time, and as the person is teaching it, if you will notice some details, like, oh, I noticed that the right arm goes up on count 2 or whatever, try to get some details in your head. And definitely like, oh, I noticed that turn, it looked like she was turning inside. Because as many little details that you can, then I understand, I agree to ask questions, but sometimes your questions, if they're clarifying questions, I think that's great. Can you show me again, was the turn on the right foot or the left or whatever? But sometimes people will ask a question that if you had just watched the detail a little bit, you would have gotten that.
Yeah.
So, and as a choreographer or director, we're noticing that too. People who are asking questions that you're like, just if you watch and listen, and really that's important. Is just listen to what they're saying and use your eyes and focus. You can get a lot of it that way.
Yeah.
So.
And I would add to that too, that really do watch the first time. Some people jump in and try to like mirror you right away. Well, guess what? Now I turned and I can't see what you're doing. So do take the time to watch. Usually it's going to be 8 counts, whatever. Watch first, just like Linda said, for the detail. Then she's probably going to show it again with you. Now try with me, So,
right.
So really staying focused is the best thing.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
okay. All right. So we warmed up. We've been watching. Oh, one other thing I want to say about when I said don't undersell yourself. It's also really important. Don't oversell. You're filling out that audition form, and we don't want, so you have a 14-year-old and her audition form says, oh, I have 12 years of ballet, tap, lyrical, hip hop, modern, and whatever. That's fine. That means you started when you were 2, and but you're setting the bar really high for yourself. So be honest and confident, but don't oversell and then come out and fall short of what we expected when we read that sheet. So
right.
Just really give some thought to what you're going to write down, because we all look, Linda's going to look, I'm going to look, we're going to make some notes. And then when she's teaching the choreography for Sound of Music, I'm going to be watching and think, I thought, so make sure you really are honest and thorough on your audition sheet as well. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see. What else I wrote down?
Let's talk about when you're divided up into groups. Yeah. And then so typically, you'll do the combination, maybe the whole group together, and sometimes we'll split you half and half so you have a little more space. And then we get to the part where we're saying, okay, now we're going to divide you in groups of 6, whatever it is. But watch how that's how the choreographer is putting everyone in position so that when it's time for your group, you can just step right in and you know what's happening. So kind of you're learning from other groups. And that being said, when you are waiting on the side and it's not your turn, be respectful. You can learn by watching them if you want to do the choreo small in your hands. But and Lisa, I think you would agree that watching someone dance it full out on the side, who's not the one auditioning at the moment, is somewhat disrespectful, and maybe calls attention to you in a way that you don't want people to notice you.
Especially at Theater Charlotte, the space is pretty small. And when you come to audition, the set from whatever they just did is gone. It's bare and there are no legs. I mean, we can see everybody. So, and the space is small in the house. So I totally agree with that. It's, there's a difference in, like you said, marking what you're going to do and going through the counts and being ready and trying to draw focus. So totally agree with that.
Yeah,
it's also
it's just professional.
Yeah, it's just professional. And also, whenever we do a show at Theater Charlotte or most places, sometimes in high schools you have months and months of rehearsal, but it's quick. And so that efficiency of moving into your space, like Linda was saying, the way you're supposed to, we need to know that you can rehearse that way, that you can come in, be where you're supposed to be. So there's so many things that we're looking at and looking for during those few minutes that you come in for choreography. So just always be aware that it's not just how well you execute those 4 sets of 8. We're watching the whole process. So
right. And so, okay, so let me just finish that one thought. When after you've watched another group, then we call your group and you go forward and then you perform the 4/8 or whatever it is, then remain in your place. This is so important because some people will finish the choreo and then just walk off. But always stay, just stand. You don't know, we may just be kind of looking at heights. We may be wanting to have a moment to remember, which one did the certain movement, but don't ever walk off. It just shows professionalism to stand until someone says to you, thank you, or next group, please, or something like that. And then you move to the side. And I will say that, once again, the nice person thing is also critical. At least Lisa's already mentioned this, but the nice person will win out. Always, because we're watching how you interact with other people as you're waiting. We're watching how you interact when someone finishes performing, and so forth. So there's a lot to be said for that.
Absolutely, and at the audition and all the way through the process.
Yeah.
And most of us who do this in town, we know each other, and whether we should or shouldn't, probably share that information more often when it's really good information. You'll love working with that person. She's so helpful to everyone else. Those are just things that that put another big plus in the columns of things that that people want. And so that's what you want. That's what you want people to do.
And we will many times we will call if someone comes to audition that we don't know. Sometimes we will call a former director and just say, hey, wanted to just kind of get your feedback. How were they good to work with? And so, that's always good to remember that every show you're doing right now will affect the ones to come. Yep. So every experience you want to be your best self.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So you guys, one of the things that you should always remember when you go to an audition, it applies to dance, but that's what we're talking about today, but it really applies to all of it. In every show, the director, the music director, and the choreographer, as a team, we want some of everybody's strengths. So if you're a singer who says, I'm just not a dancer, do what you need to do to become better and do your best at the audition, because we don't need everybody to be chorus people who have to be on the front row of the big dance production number. So we need always singers who can move well, actors who sing well and pick up choreography, and dancers who sing and act. So be confident in what it is that makes you love this. Why are you here? Be confident in that, and then do what it takes to get better at the other things. But also know, I don't have to be the best dancer at the audition in order for the choreographer to want me. I mean, don't say, well, the music director is going to love me, but just know that we work as a production team, and that we're looking for all the things, to use Linda's word, we're looking for all the different ways people sparkle. Yeah. I think that's kind of at the base of all the advice that we would want to share.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Linda, I think we do have time. Tell us a little bit about, because I know there are probably some younger folks that are watching the Teachable series, about preparing for a college audition and how that's different for auditioning for a Theater Charlotte show.
Well, I guess what's happened over the last 10 years is that the college process has become, as we know, way more complicated and competitive. And so there's now this process called pre-screen, and you now have to submit pre-screens before you then are invited to come and audition. So, as part of this process, and many of you, if you are a high school junior or whatever, you probably already know about this process, but you are presenting, at least 2 monologues. You're presenting 2, sometimes more songs, and their descriptions depending on what the school. I think they're doing a better job now, though, of trying to make it so that it's more uniform and not every school requiring a different kind of song and a different kind of monologue. But then there is a dance piece, and currently it is a 60-second video of you dancing, and not you doing a freestyle in your living room kind of thing, but like you in professional dance wear. So I've helped a lot of students with this and presenting the best 60 seconds. And I've talked to so many college admissions people who say, a series of tricks is not what we're looking for. We're really looking for some people who, in that 60 seconds, understand what's happening in the particular piece that they're dancing in. So if you're doing a number from Hairspray number, do you understand what's happening right here in this part? Or perhaps it's a story that we've created, and so we take a 60-second cut of a song, and we come up with a little plot about, you're getting ready to ask someone to dance with you at the prom, and you're really nervous about it, but then you get on the floor and you bust out into your best dance moves. Maybe that's the plot of the 60 seconds. But having somewhat of a character in mind, and then you present that. This is not, you still will, if you're accepted and get through that round and are invited to audition, then of course you're still going to go and have a dance audition, a full on dance class. And interestingly, and I think I've been encouraging people to think about this more, is that they're asking a lot of people to, as part of the dance audition, to create their own 16 counts or their own 32 counts. So it is helpful if you think about that ahead of time. So you're not just going to jump in there and think of something that isn't your best, but kind of, experimenting a little bit with, well, if they ask me to do 16 counts, I might do something like this. And I have a wonderful student that I've been working with, and she just owns her comedic side and everything like that. And when they asked for the 16 counts, she put in the bend and snap as part of her, from Legally Blonde, as part of her dance improv. And they absolutely loved it because it was really who she is. So you want your dance improv part to be something that, shows who you are. But then you take a class, and there are several schools where there is a ballet class, ballet bar. I've been to a few where the instructor does not even get out of a chair. So the instructor says, we will have, 2 demis and a grande, port de bras forward, and you have to then know what all those words mean. So that's, I think, why I reference back to the boot camp. I've helped a lot of kids sort of just get through a ballet boot camp, so you will understand what that means. And yeah, so, and in the professional world, a lot of times the audition starts with the dance piece. So, and then you come back and go through the singing and monologue piece. So in different venues or arenas, it might be where you dance might come in a different place. Yes, I'm happy to help anyone who's watching here today who, is embarking on this college experience, although this year is a weird year coming up, but I'm sure that pre-screen will still be a part of it. So if you are needing any assistance with that, let me know.
Thanks.
Of course.
All right, so Jackie, I think you're still hanging in the backstage area of this production. And we wanted to ask you if there were questions that came in either before or during the last few minutes.
Yeah, I mean, we have a question about just if somebody's brand new to all of this, what they should kind of expect the very first time, if they walk through the doors of Theater Charlotte to audition for Sound of Music or Pippin. You kind of talked a little bit about the process, but if you can kind of give it in one.
Absolutely, because knowing that, it does settle your nerves a little bit.
Yeah.
So let's pretend it's the day of Audition for Sound of Music. You're going to come to Theater Charlotte, look for signs, because sometimes we'll bring you in through a different door, and you'll come in and the stage manager and maybe a volunteer are there with forms, and you're going to pick up your form and get your number. The form will be numbered so that now throughout the audition, you're number 7. And you should come with a picture of yourself. You don't have to go out and spend a ton of money, but you get a nice picture of yourself that you can bring in. That's, the same size as a piece of paper, 8.5 by 11, and we can keep that with your form. And so you're gonna fill out your form with all of your name, your address, your phone number, your age, and you might want to put a range of age. If you're auditioning for a specific part, we want to know that. We also ask you, so let's say you're coming and you want to be Liesel. And so you say, I'm auditioning for Liesel. And then there'll be another question that says, would you take any other part? And I would say, if this is your first time, you should say yes. You would take another part, because you don't know how tall we need Liesel to be or what we're looking for. And if this is your first time, then any experience would be a good experience. So, but all of that information is going to be on the form. And so you're going to have your form, and you're going to go over and fill it out. You're going to have your picture, and then you're going to sit in the lobby and wait. Typically at Theater Charlotte, then we're going to call people in order. So number 1, we'd like to hear you come in and sing, and you want to have your music. This is for another day, but you want to have your music organized and ready for the music director. Walk up, hand the music. This is where I'm going to start. Sing your selection. See if the director wants you to read anything, or whether you should have a monologue prepared, a short monologue, and then sometimes we ask for them, sometimes we don't, but to have it prepared. And then we're probably going to say, thank you, please wait in the lobby for the dance audition. And typically at Theater Charlotte, we'll take 10, maybe 12. So those people will sing. And at the end of that, we'll bring that group in. So if you're number 14, you're probably going to wait a little bit longer. And then that whole group comes back onto the stage where you were before, and we'll tell you how to line up. And for Sound of Music, say, this is Linda. She'll introduce herself, and she'll show the choreography that she wants you to learn and perform. And you would do that as a group. And then I think Linda mentioned earlier, we may say, okay, now we just want to see you 6, or we're going to watch for a little while. And then we'll probably say, thank you so much for coming, and we will be in touch. And that's kind of how that day goes. If you're number 20, like I said, you're going to have to wait for all of those people, and then wait for your group to come in. Then there may or may not be callback auditions. If you're newer to this and are unfamiliar, what might happen is that we know that we have the perfect little Gretel, but we're not quite sure between these 2 young ladies who we might want for Liesel, but we need to see all the kids together. We would call the kids back, and they would come on the 3rd night or whatever, and we would have you either sing your song again, or, hey, would you try this? And we might just look at you. I think particularly for Sound of Music, right, Linda? Line you up and look at you. And you may have already been cast. You may have been cast as Maria, and we haven't called you back. It doesn't mean that you're not cast. It just means that we didn't need to see you again. So there would be callback auditions, and then the stage manager or the director will give you a call to let you know, thank you so much, we aren't able to use you this time, or we'd like to offer you the role of Friedrich or whatever. So it's a process that goes over for a few days. Linda, you want to add to that? Did I kind of give that?
No, I think that's
good walkthrough.
Yes, a walkthrough for a beginner. That's perfect.
Yeah. This is funny. Allie auditioned for The Little Mermaid, my daughter, Allie. And I actually hadn't been through the whole audition process before. And I was like, oh my God, what is happening?
It's also different when it's your own people back again. I will say. Yeah, it's a little harder when it's your own little one in there. Yeah.
Right. So. Worked there for 12 years. I've never actually been through the audition process.
Yeah, and it's scary, but what you need to also know, particularly the people that work at Theater Charlotte, one of the reasons we like that is that Theater Charlotte's a place we want you to do well. Even if you're not somebody that fits that show, or we can't cast you this time, everyone who comes to audition, I know Linda feels that way. I do. I want everyone who stands up there. We're so aware that it's hard. It takes a lot of courage to to come and do what you're asked to do in audition, and we want you to do well. So at least take a little comfort in that. I know it's scary, but we're all on your side.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
And
Okay.
I know you've cast people who you know really well and who you've never seen before that very day.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
So,
I don't think I've ever, and I've never cast a show where there wasn't someone new who I'm thrilled, you're new to Charlotte, or new, I've never seen you walk in, and then you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here. And you were just such an asset. And it's one of the greatest things about community theater. And you have this new friend whom you love. So that happens every show. There's always somebody new.
Yeah.
Yes. Awesome. I'm going to throw up a couple quick comments.
Okay.
Our littlest friend, Kristen's daughter, Kate, says, "Hi, Miss Lisa." And then Kate also says, "Do we know when we're going to do The Sound of Music?" Which, Kate, if you're still watching, hopefully very soon. We will be announcing any changes that we're going to do to our upcoming lineup either later this week or first thing next week. We're still working through it, getting approval, all that kind of stuff. So stay tuned.
But we're not going to be auditioning for Sound of Music in July. I mean, it is going to be later because we have to be safe. So, but just know that if that doesn't mean it's not happening, it's just going to have to be a little bit later.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. They are here. We've got Lisa. We've got Linda. We're excited to do the show, but we also need to keep everybody healthy. So,
yes. And we can't wait to see you there, little Kate.
Love Kate. So, and then just one more sweet comment. Cherie says that you are amazing, wonderful, and inspiring women.
Oh, how sweet.
That's so nice. As is she.
Thank you.
Anyone else saying that? Let's keep hearing that. That's nice.
Well, we've got Sierra, who loves you guys.
Aww.
Hi, Sierra. So we can see everyone. Hey, Sierra.
So awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for being with us today.
You're welcome. It was
thanks for having us.
Really appreciate it. And Linda, if you want me to share information about how to get in touch with you on this Facebook post, send that over to me and I'll get that on there.
Sure.
Hey, one other thing, you guys, Linda is more aware than I am of the details, but I think tomorrow isn't Northwest tomorrow doing some online?
It's Friday.
It's Friday.
Yes.
Tell everyone about that.
They've got it. Oh, I don't have the contact info, but I'm sure we can get it. But they're doing a day of classes with Broadway stars, and they're on the hour. And so there's like acting through a song at noon, and Nick Rashad Burroughs is going to be doing movement from Kinky Boots. I can't remember if he's one or two, but every hour they're having another Broadway star. And evidently you go on to Northwest School of the Arts and get tickets, purchase tickets to do this. But it sounds like
to be a student, like
no, anyone can do it.
Me could get on and do it, right?
Absolutely. Cool. Yes, cool. We can get on there and do some Kinky Boots, Lisa.
Yeah. In our driveway.
Yes, in our driveway. Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, we can add that to this Facebook post too. I'm sure Ron has the information, so I'll grab that from him.
Yeah, those are the kind of things, you guys, that you should take advantage of.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Cool. Well, can't wait to see you all in person sometime soon.
Yay! Thank you guys.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.